All right, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a selfie drawing. All right, but we're not going to do it with the pen tool like we have in the past. We're going to do it with the brush tool. And the brush tool is right here, the paintbrush tool. So you can click B on your keyboard to get to it. Now, this drawing is going to be at a 3/4 turn. That means it's not straight on and it's not on the side. 3/4 drawings are tough, but I want to show you how easy you can draw with the brush tool. So the first thing you need to do is to open your selfie image that you're going to use, and it needs to be you that you're doing. Okay? Then you need to put it on a bottom layer. Make sure that that layer gets locked, and then add about 3 more layers on top of it. Right now I'm on layer 4 at the very top. And what I need to do is I need to create my brush that I'm going to use. Okay? Because these are good options for the brushes over here, but they're just not what I want. Okay, the stroke that we're going to use is going to be like this. So I'm going to use the ellipse tool to create a small, thin, narrow brush that looks just like this, okay? So then what I can do is take my brush that I've created with the selection tool, after I created it with the ellipse tool, drag it into the brushes panel. That's going to open up this box. And I want to choose art brush. Click OK. Then my method is going to be tenths. And that's fine. And then we're going to click OK. Everything else is good to go. Now, I'm going to delete that circle I created because I don't need it anymore. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and you're going to get very intimate with my face, okay? I'm going to use the paintbrush tool just like this, and we want to make sure that we have the stroke turned on and the fill turned to nothing. And I'm just going to start going right down, okay? Just making these little crisp, short strokes. Now, if your strokes aren't what you want, you can always double click the paintbrush tool and make sure that you're in a smoother side of the tool. Okay, you want it to be smooth strokes so that it's not all janky, because if you get all the way over here, let's see what it looks like with accurate. So it gets a little, you can see where if I'm doing this, it's very accurate and it's not as smooth with the stroke. So I like to keep it about at the 4th stop, because that allows me to kind of be smooth without having a lot of accuracy. So if you don't like the line you created, just hit Control Z. Control Z will allow you to kind of redo or undo the line you just created. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep going until you find the line that you like. Okay. All right. So there you have it, guys. So right there, I've got most of the outline of my head done, and all we're doing is just with the pen tool or the brush tool, just making short, easy strokes. Okay? So just keep working until you find what you got, what you are really trying to get after, okay? And now if you want to, when you get into some place like this, if you want to zoom in a little bit more, one thing that I like to do is come in for these more detailed parts is to take my stroke down a little bit. So maybe it's at 0.25. Maybe you create just a slightly smaller brush if you want to. You don't have to do anything like that. All right, so now if we look at our layers panel, what I want to do is just turn off that bottom layer, and look, just like that, I've got my drawn out self. So now we're going to go and lock our top layer, the ones with all the strokes in it that we just created, and we're going to make a color layer. So now what we want to do is we want to add color to our image. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to lock our layers with the strokes, and then we're going to come to the layer underneath it. Probably need to go to layer 2. All right? And we're going to take and color our base color first, so the color that would be underneath everything else. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my eyedropper tool, and I'm just going to grab a color from my skin over here. And then I'm going to come in, and I'm going to right-click the brush tool, the paintbrush tool. I'm going to go to the Blob brush tool. The Blob brush is a coloring tool that looks like this. And if I hold down my bracket key, I can make it bigger, my brackets on the keyboard. Okay, and then I can just come in, and I'm going to color it in just like this. So I'm on a layer underneath the strokes. So once I color it in, you'll see that the strokes are all there. All right? Then what I'm going to do is take and find a color in my beard that looks okay. And I got to make my Blob brush tool smaller, so I had to bracket the opposite way to the left. And I can just color it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish coloring this in, and I'll meet you back in just a second. Okay, so now that you have it colored in, it's a little bit sloppy, and that's fine. What we have to do, make sure that our stroke panel is locked so we don't erase any of our strokes. And we're going to take our eraser tool, and we're just going to come right around the edge. Let me find the edge. And we're just going to start erasing all the way around here. So you want to erase the colors that fall outside of your face shape, outside of your lines, your boundary. So I'm going to do that, and I'll meet you back here in a sec. All right, so the next thing you need to do is just kind of go back in and edit where you might have messed up some colors. Finish off with the eyes. So, pick a color for your eyes that's close to what you actually are, or you can actually copy your eye color, either way you want to do it. And color that in. And then you're going to do the same thing where you go back and you make sure that you have all the colors out from the boundary. You don't want to leave any of those colors overlapping here. So one thing that you'll notice, if you select an object and then use the eraser, you can erase the color from that object. Okay. However, if you do not select the color and you use the eraser to try to erase something, this is what's going to happen. It's going to erase all your color on that layer. So you have to make sure that you're selecting the color you want to delete. Okay, once you've got that done, the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to take and lock that layer. You're going to go up to layer 3, and you're going to take the color black right now. Using the Blob brush tool, we're just going to add a little bit of highlight using the color black. And just go around the edge of the face and into the hair and add some shadows in black, and I'll meet you back here in a second. All right, once you have your color set, similar to this, you're going to select your color. We're on layer 3. We're going to change the opacity down. So you want it to be shady. So I'm going to go down to about 30. And just like that, you've added shadow all the way around. Now, the goal for you is to go through and add the rest of your shadow, like get some shadows down here to kind of counter the nose. Find the shadows on your face so that you can add to these shadows and make it more three-dimensional. So That's the goal for the rest of the time, and then I want you to turn this in on the assignment page on Canvas. All right, way to go, guys! Thanks for watching, and hope to see you tomorrow.